Afternoon, and welcome everyone to this special presentation on the eve of Earth Day, the performance of the work Missa Gaia, or Earth Mass. You've just heard as a prologue, a request of mine, the opening prologue to the tone poem, Also Sprach Zarathustra. Let me tell you, that's a mouthful. Which means, translated from the German, also spoke Zarathustra. And if you want to know about Zarathustra, you have to read Friedrich Nietzsche, because he wrote about that in one of his books, the German 19th century philosopher. But I'll leave that to do in your own time. It's a wonderful piece. I was here for St. Paul's Easter Sunday service, and they did that as the prologue to that service, so I thought it would be a perfect way to start this concert this afternoon. So welcome. Earth Day is an annual event on April 22nd to demonstrate support for environmental protection. It was first held in the USA on April 22nd, 1970, and it now includes a wide range of events coordinated globally by earthday.org, which was formerly the Earth Day Network. And it now includes up to 1 billion people around the planet in more than 193 countries. Each year there's been an official theme for Earth Day, and this year in 2024, the official theme is Planet versus plastics. Earthday.org has called for a 60% global reduction in plastic production by 2040. In November 2023, to bring public attention to the health threat that microplastics pose, Earthday.org released its report, Babies versus Plastics, which collated some of the latest science on the subject. The British newspaper The Guardian carried an op-ed about the report, highlighting that it is the children of the global south, the southern hemisphere countries, who are being the most impacted by exposure to microplastics. The first Canadian Earth Day, or in French, Jour de la Terre, was held in 1980. The principal activities taking place on the first Earth Day in Canada back in 1980 included educational lectures given by experts in various environmental fields, garbage and litter pickup along city roads and highways, and tree plantings to replace the trees killed back in 1970 by the Dutch elm disease. Anthropologist and writer Margaret Mead added her support for Earth Day back in the 1970s, and in 1978 she declared, and I quote, "Earth Day is the first holy day which transcends all national borders, yet preserves all geographical integrities. It spans mountains and oceans and time zones, and yet brings people all over the world into one resonating accord. It's devoted to the preservation of the harmony in nature, and yet draws upon the triumphs of technology, the measurement of time, and instantaneous communication throughout space. Earth Day attaches no local or divisive set of symbols, no statement of the truth or superiority of one way of life over another." As we are gathered here today on the eve of Earth Day 2024, we reflect on the many good gifts that surround us in the natural world here in our immediate area. As you came in, I hope you saw the display in the atrium provided by the Couchichang Conservancy, a non-profit, non-government land trust supported by individuals from all walks of life who want to ensure that the special natural features here, the Couchiching Severn region, will be preserved for future generations and for all forms of wildlife, plants and animals. Since 1993, the Conservancy has helped to protect over 14,000 acres of special natural lands, in some cases globally rare ecosystems. The Couchiching Conservancy website proudly states, and I quote, "Our donors, volunteers, and staff work together to make the Couchiching Conservancy a beacon of hope, a bastion of reason and cooperation. In an age of environmental paralysis, we get things done." And to that I say, amen. And we are mindful and grateful for the teachings and example of the indigenous nations who lived here in this particular region of Turtle Island throughout the past centuries, nurturing and caring for the land and waterways. As is expressed in this video, narrated by a choir member here, Peggy Aberhart, and featuring photographs taken by volunteers and staff of the Couchiching Conservancy. So these photos are all from the local area where the Couchiching Conservancy protects many of the lands. We're just waiting for the sound to come on for this narration by Peggy Aberhart. And our wizard techno person, I'm sure, will figure this out any moment. Hey Peggy, do you have it off by heart? Can you recite it to us? And when you first recorded it?
We gather today grateful for the opportunity to meet on land long inhabited by Indigenous people, whom we celebrate and now join as stewards of its beauty and abundance. Long before it was known as the Orillia area, and today, here is the home of the Anishinaabeg peoples, which include the Ojibwe, Odawa, and Potawatomi nations. We are all treaty people of the Robinson-Huron Treaty, Williams Treaties, and J. Collins Land Purchase. As we learn about the lands we stand on and the people who live here, we recognize and deeply appreciate the contributions of First Nations, Métis, Inuit, and other Indigenous peoples shaping and strengthening this community, our province, our country. For settlers, this recognition of the contributions and historic importance of Indigenous people becomes clearly and overtly connected to our collective conscience to fulfill the promise of truth and reconciliation in our shared lands and lives.
As you see on the screen, as you may have noticed on the front cover of the program for this afternoon's gathering, this presentation is in memoriam or in memory of Karen Hilfman Millson, who was a minister here for almost 15 years and who passed away on February 21st this year after battling ovarian cancer for about the past 4 years. My wife Mayumi and I were in Florida visiting my sister, who is convalescing from being treated for tongue cancer. at the time of Karen's celebration of life service. However, thanks to our dedicated and skilled volunteer audiovisual team here at St. Paul's, coordinated by the indomitable Rick Brown, we and many others were able to watch the live stream of Karen's celebration of life service, which took place here on Saturday, February 24th, which, perhaps not completely coincidentally, was also Karen's birthday. As I look at these archival photos being projected before you on the screen, taken during Karen's years as a minister, memories light the corner of my mind of but a handful of the many special events and services that took place during her ministry in the past 2 decades. I'm so pleased that we have with us here at this gathering John and Marlene Odom, who have traveled from Winnipeg to be with us today. After watching Karen's celebration of life service, Bardster John, as he sometimes refers to himself, a most prolific writer of poetry and hymn texts, was inspired to immediately write a 2-verse lyric titled, "Follow the Light of Love." Many of us received this lyric in one of John's email blasts, which come to us frequently, on February 28th, 4 days after Karen's celebration of life service, with the accompanying explanation that it was, in John's words, and I quote, "inspired by the example, witness, and wisdom teaching of Karen, and the themes expressed in her celebration of life service, conducted by Reverend Jody Maltby." And this new hymn text that he was inspired to write from watching the service was, metaphorically speaking, a precious jewel that was looking for just the right musical setting. Within days, our own Jim Lewis, you're in the tenor section in the choir, gave it just the right setting. The choir is going to debut it now, accompanied by Dan McCoy on the organ and Alyssa Wright on the cello. Follow the Light of Love, lyrics by John Odom, music by Jim Lewis, written in memory of the Reverend Karen Hilfman Millson. The extended choral work you're about to hear, the Missa Gaia, or Earth Mass, was first presented here at St. Paul's on the weekend of Earth Day in 2012. These large screens, at least the two at the front, which are now an integral component of this gathering place and worship space, had just recently been installed back then, thanks to the vision and leadership of, who else, Rick Brown, assisted by a team of willing and perhaps somewhat gullible crew of volunteer grunt laborers. There should have been a video of when those screens were installed by this crew. Suddenly, hymn lyrics and images to complement them projected on these new large screens became a regular part of worship services and other gatherings here in this room. In preparation for the presentation of that late country debut of Missa Gaia, Karen Hilfman Millson and I decided to assemble a series of slides that would be projected throughout the presentation. And assisted by Jason Patterson, we became obsessed with finding just the right images to complement the lyrics being sung and the readings interspersed between the choral movements, which will be read again today. Fortunately, the images were kept in a computer file and will again enhance this in memoriam presentation of the Missa Gaia, or Earth Mass. Before we begin this extended choral work, I mentioned that when we get to the seventh movement, which is called the Blue-Green Hills of Earth, you will be invited to join in the singing of the final chorus, and the words will be on the screen when we get to that point, and I will cue you as well. Oh, and please refrain from applauding until the entire work has been sung. Missa Gaia is created by musician Paul Winters and with music by Paul and many other composers. First presented in 1971 at St. John the Divine Cathedral in New York City.
Planet Earth, my home, my place, a capricious anomaly in the sea of space.
Planet Earth, are you just floating by, a cloud of dust?
A minor globe about to bust?
A piece of metal bound to rust?
A speck of matter in a mindless void?
A lonely spaceship?
A large asteroid?
Cold as a rock without a hue, held together with a bit of glue. Something tells me this isn't true. You are my sweetheart, soft and blue.
Do you care? Have you a part in the deepest emotions of my own heart? Tender with breezes, caressing and whole, alive with music haunting my soul.
In my veins, I felt the mystery of corridors of time, books of history, like songs of ages throbbing in my blood, have danced the rhythm of the tide and flood. Your misty clouds, your electric storm,
were turbulent tempests in my own form. I've licked the salt, the bitter, the sweet of every encounter of passion, of heat. Your riotous color, your fragrance, your taste have thrilled my senses beyond all taste.
In your beauty, I've known the how of timeless bliss.
The moment of now. Okay.
The sun, incandescent sphere, permanent explosion, its core, pouring itself out for us, source to a hamlet of planets, asteroids, and comets. Human trajectory unfolds in this orbit between wandering stars and the invincible sun. Imagine when the heart of the sun goes supernova, instantly swallowing the distance between us. The wet earth, a single tear, will finally merge with your fiery body. I felt your heartbeat since the universe was plasma, ancient always, new perpetual dawning, horizon of light, and arcing shadow, string of days and nights, primeval rhythm. The sky and the earth are lovers who've been forced apart. Earth yearns for the sky, clouds long to kiss ocean, mountains rise up with desire. Himalaya, Appalachia, Sierra, Shasta, Fuji, Kenya, Denali, the cosmos a journey, the universe longing, each human a body of water. Sunlight enters a drop of water and disperses into color sunlight, enters planet Earth and species blossom, sacred secret. Granite, sequoia, redwood, oak, salamander, condor, beetle, radiant sun. Earth, your disciple, apostle with strange powers to manifest the mystery.
The changing moon, a triple goddess, silver bow of Artemis, becomes full moon, becomes the goddess of the dark. Moon, wandering among souls of the dead, announced by howling dogs. She dwells on tombs and lonely places where two roads cross. Every prophet must make peace with death, a sacred secret. Imagine when your heart goes supernova, blazing matter extending across 93 million miles.
The wet earth, a single tear, will finally merge with your fiery body.
Golden light in cobalt sky, illumination of spaciousness, blue like Krishna's blue body, blue like the cosmos.
We tune our ears to the wisdom of earth. It is deep prayer, this listening to her cries, as spirit sighs, too deep for words.
Unborn generations call to us from the future. What did you do when the planet could no longer bear your foolishness and began to break?
The growl of the grizzly caught in the crosshairs of trophy hunters and policymakers is a plea for the rights of all the disappearing ones.
We listen for the bawl of the caribou, asking us for room enough to roam and arsenic-free water to drink.
The cardinal's whistle, once joy's message, is now a haunting lament for the dwindling chorus of songbirds.
The living organism we call topsoil clears its thin, chemically burnt voice and speaks out for the tiny creatures teeming within its dark body.
Mother Ocean beckons us to return to her womb, that we might be born anew and know our salty tears to be hers.
The willow drops her loving arms around our shoulders and brushes us with grace, whispering that it's not too late. It falls to us, wisdom's pupils, to turn this dirge into a dance of the cosmos. There is spirituality beyond religion's creeds. It's found in nature and in all who share in caring deeds. It cannot be confined to words, for it is of the heart, expressed in diverse cultures and in varied forms of art.
There is a spirituality, in essence mystery, inviting us to heal and grow and know serenity. It's there in presence of a friend who listens to our song, expressed in ways that do affirm that everyone belongs.
There is a spirituality that beckons us to serve, to help each other on the path with gentleness and verve. It is reflected in the way we treat our Mother Earth, expressed in affirmations that each one is of great worth.
There is a spirituality that says, come in and share. The blessings and the good news we're recipients of God's care. Beyond the dogmas that divide us, we share a common voice that sings the messages of faith and calls us to rejoice. The ocean on a shore far west churns and crashes and echoes the songs of other oceans, other waters that together dance the song of life. A song filled with alternate harmonies, changing from stillness to crescendos, rippling with sparkling sunlight and imploding with gales of wind.
The ocean, the greatest area on earth, filled with more life than we can imagine, now being destroyed deep below the surface of its mystery. And yet it is here that I come to discover and to remember the gift of the ebb and flow of life, and the reminder that though each wave is unique and beautiful in its own way, it returns to the ocean to be one, just like each of us. Paul Winter, an American jazz musician and composer who was the catalyst and leader of the creative team that wrote the music and arrangements of this Earth Mass, relates that in the early stages of its creation, he talked of it to the American astronaut Rusty Schweickart. Yes, we certainly can. I'll repeat this in a few minutes. Paul Winter, an American jazz musician and composer who was the catalyst and leader of the creative team that wrote the music and arrangements of this Earth Mass, relates that in the early stages of its creation, he talked to the American astronaut, Rusty Schicart, who had been the first man to walk in space without the umbilical connecting line. Schicart gave a profoundly moving description of that experience and of the nostalgia he felt as he floated in space when he looked out and saw our tiny Earth in the distance and realized that all the joy and beauty and love that had nourished his life had taken place on that little blue marble, which he could cover with his thumb. It also made him think of the character named Riesling, the blind poet of the Venus Shuttle in Robert Heinlein's science fiction classic book, The Green Hills of Earth.
While traveling with his comrades through space, Riesling writes a poetic ballad of yearning for his home planet, Earth, and concludes his poem with the following lines. "We pray for one last landing on the globe that gave us birth. Let us rest our eyes on fleecy skies and the cool green hills of Earth." We keep looking for something we've already got, trying to remember what we've long been taught. We keep running around in circles of thought, fighting battles that no longer need to be fought. Oh my soul, we're already whole. We just kind of forgot.
We were born from stars that formed and blew apart, chaos and creation together from the start, process and change as cosmic art. We're the universe aware of itself with new paths to chart. Oh my soul, we're already whole, and we're joined heart to heart. Yes, we're joined heart to heart.
We live and we die with this time in between to make the most of this physical scene. Drops of water from an ocean pristine, separate but connected by the spirit unseen. Oh my soul, we're already whole. We're what is and what's been. We're what is and what's been.
Whatever happens to you happens to me. With all of creation, we're ancient family. All moments in time, all of infinity. All joys and sorrows held together tenderly. Oh my soul, we're already whole. What a sweet mystery, what a sweet mystery. Thankful let us be.
I thought, I realized I didn't indicate anywhere in the program or on the PowerPoint who wrote the readings that were read in between the movements. So I'll quickly tell you, because I think some of them it's important to know. The very first readings, which were supposed to take place before we sang the first movement, but the conductor in his old age forgot to wait for that. But that reading at the beginning was by Michael Jackson. And yes, Michael Jackson, the singer, pop star, he wrote those opening words, and they're beautiful words. You can find them online if you're interested. Planet Earth, my home, my place. Cold as a rock without a hue, held together with a bit of glue. Something tells me this isn't true. You are my sweetheart, soft and blue. Words of Michael Jackson. Second reading, poetry written called The Sun, written by Drew Dillinger, who came to St. Paul's a few years back and read his readings down at the banquet hall one evening, and also The Prayer of Hope by Canadian minister Bruce Sanguin. You know him, John? You do. Next reading, who else but by John Odom, right here in the front row, There is a Spirituality. Did that ever get set to music, John? Those words? Fred Jobin? Oh, how could I forget? How could I forget? The next reading, before we sang The Green Hills of Earth, and we got a bit of a preview of it before we got there, was written, it was just from the preface of the Missa Gaia, and a bit from Robert Heinlein's science fiction story, The Green Hills of Earth, which inspired the writings of those lyrics of that song. And the final reading was titled Cosmic Whole by Fred Jobin. Yeah. Thanks, Fred, indeed. All right. Well, at this point, if you haven't had a chance already, we're going to have a collection, and this collection will be used. The proceeds will go to support of greening initiatives at St. Paul's Center. If you give a donation of $20 or more, then you can get a tax receipt. But if you would like a tax receipt, please be sure to put your donation in one of the envelopes that are available. Ask one of our greeters, ushers, for one if it's not readily available, and they'll make sure they give you one, and make sure you fill out the required information on that envelope. And while the collection plates are being passed, I invite you all to join us all here on the stage in singing a song that was first created by a women's gathering in Halifax in the early 2000s by Carolyn McDade was coordinating that. And it's titled, Oh Beautiful Gaia. And I thought we just had to sing it together as part of this. And the words will be on the screen, but please stay seated.
voice from the speakers on high. I asked the audiovisual team to put a mic here, and I haven't used it yet, so I better use it before we're finished. We're almost finished. Anyways, to close, in 1899, the country of Finland was celebrating a very significant anniversary of their emancipation from being ruled by their neighbor, Russia. And it was a very, very significant year. So the great Finnish composer, Jean Sibelius, to celebrate this, wrote an extended work which included 7 tone poems for orchestra. And the last one was called Finlandia. To wander his native country. And the middle section of it and the final section had a beautiful chorus. And since then words have been created for this beautiful chorus, and many of them are in hymn books. And in 1984, American musician and hymn writer Omer Westendorf wrote these lyrics for that beautiful tune, which is now known as Finlandia. And to close this afternoon, I invite you to stand as you are able and join the choir in singing this. The subtitle is Stewards of the Earth. The title is All Praise to You. The words are by Omer Westendorf. The music by Jan Sibelius. Please rise if you're ready. Thank you so much for coming this afternoon, everyone, and do something nice for Mother Earth tomorrow on Earth Day and every day. Safe home. Thank you.